there were a couple of plane crashes involving the Boeing 737 model plane. Look, accident investigators have blamed an automatic flight control system for sending two Boeing 737 MAX jets into fatal nosedives in late 2018 and early 2019. These crashes took 346 lives in total. The fact is that it was the same planes with the issues that brought Boeing into the spotlight for these crashes. So basically, they were brought into, because these planes crashed, Boeing was brought into the spotlight. Well, Boeing was sued, of course. Insurance companies were paid out. And, it's a tragedy, of course. It's just terrible. But wait till you hear this part. I don't get this. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the people who regulate the rules of stocks, they're suing Boeing for false and misleading information stated after the crashes. The SEC enforces laws that require public companies like Boeing to disclose material facts and other information that shareholders need to make investment decisions. So the agency investigated how Boeing communicated with investors about the crashes and its response to the crashes. These crashes obviously had an effect on the value of the stock, and it wiped out billions of dollars of the company's market value. The SEC said that Boeing and Dennis Muhlenberg, Boeing's former CEO at the time, made misleading statements about the crash and the 737 MAX in November 2018, and after the first crash, and then he did it again in April 2019 after the second crash. So here's what he said. Muhlenberg assured the public that the 737 MAX is as safe as any airplane that has ever flown in the skies, according to an SEC settlement order. In the second case, according to the SEC, Mr. Muhlenberg told investigators and journalists after the April 2019 crash that there was no surprise or gap or unknown information that slipped through the 737 MAX certification process. So these are they're just reassuring statements made by a CEO of a company who was solely responsible for the loss of over 300 lives. I mean, it's simple statements with no real meat to them. He's just trying to make people feel good. It wasn't like he goes, "Oh, this is, our numbers are this, and we did this," when they didn't happen. Anyway, well, the SEC feels that, and I quote, they could have been misleading. Now, don't get me wrong here. It's been proven that there was a software glitch and that caused these planes to crash, and it is an absolute tragedy. I also believe the families and the deceased deserve some serious compensation. But what does all this have to do with the SEC fine that goes to no one? I mean, no one. The families get nothing and the shareholders get nothing. Boeing decided actually to settle this for $200 million. They did it to admit no wrongdoing and just want to move on. By the way, the stock is now down to $138 a share, and it's one of the stocks I follow. I will tell you, if it falls below 120, jump all over it. In fact, usually when a stock settles a lawsuit, the stock starts to go back up. So watch for it. By the way, as for the 737, every time I get into a plane, I look at the emergency instructions card to see what plane I'm flying on. And when it's a 737, I actually do get nervous.